up guys, welcome to Blossom Motion Athletic. I'm Coach Daniel, and today's video was actually a requested video from one of my subscribers, and they want to know how to build muscle during lockdown. Alright, so I have to admit I was quite late with this topic as we're already months down the line during lockdown, but these few tips can actually help with our lockdown. So when lockdown is hopefully done in the past, or if you're not in the gym at the moment, if you're just training at home, you can use these tips to help build muscle. Alright, so my first tip is, don't be so hard on yourself. Okay, so we are in a pandemic, we are locked down. The last thing on your mind should be that you need to get super fit, you need to get those gains, you need to become the next great bodybuilder, the men's physique, bikini model, or anything like that. That should be the last thing on your mind right now. I do understand a lot of people, their escape is fitness and they love that whole lifestyle. So yes, it is important to train even during lockdown, but don't make it your top priority. Don't be so hard on yourself on getting those results as fast as possible. This is a process now. We all got to work through it, and the transformation is a much longer period than these 2 months that we're going through. If you're still really more focused on muscle building, then let's go through the next steps. Okay, so tip number 2 is isometric and superset training. Okay, so you may have heard this before. I did mention it in one of my previous videos. In order to get the best amount of results for our resistance training, we need to keep that muscle under tension for at least 45 seconds. So if you can imagine you are doing a bicep curl, you're doing 10 reps. It can take about 10 to 20 seconds to finish those 10 reps. Alright, so you are basically halfway through that time that we actually want for the optimal muscle gain. So we incorporate isometric training and supersetting to keep your muscle under tension for much longer. Okay, so what is isometric training? It is basically holding the contraction. So if you're doing a bicep curl, you're coming up all the way, going down halfway, and you're holding that position. So your bicep muscle is under tension for a specific amount of time. So you can do 3 to 5 seconds. So then you're doing 10, say you're doing 10 reps. Okay, so 10 reps, that's 5 seconds each, 50 seconds that you're doing the exercise, minimum. Okay, so you're going over that 45-second barrier. Another way you can do this is tempo training. So if you haven't heard it before, tempo training is basically counting in the way you're doing the movement. So if you're saying 1 second up, 2 seconds down, something like that. So you're going 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so there's different types of tempos that you can use. I won't go through that right now, but different tempos can help keep your muscle under tension for much longer. The next one I mentioned is supersetting. So if you cannot do 20 reps or something continuously, you do half it, you do 10, and then you pair it with an exercise that is either opposite muscle or the same muscle in a different way. So if you're working a bicep curl, you would do something like a tricep extension, or if you're doing tricep extensions, you'll do something like a skull crusher. Just exercises that pair well with each other, and there's no break in between. So you do your bicep curls and you go straight into tricep extensions, and then you rest, and that will be one step. Okay, so it's not finish your bicep curls, rest 45 seconds to a minute, and then do your tricep extension. You're going straight into that second set of exercises. That's why it's called supersetting. Okay, 2 things or more in one, and then you complete it. Right, so the third tip is, what sort of muscle are you actually looking to put on? Are you looking to get lean muscle or bulk muscle? Okay, so bulk muscle is a little bit easier. You'd focus on that heavy resistance training, and you would be in a calorie surplus. So you're eating more calories than you're burning, but not in too much. But you also got to watch what you're eating. You can't just eat a bunch of burgers and be in a surplus and think you're going to get bulk muscle. You're going to bulk up, but you're going to bulk up in fat. So you're going to watch your macros. If you don't know how to calculate your macros, link is up over here. I've got everything for you already, so check it out. If you need to calculate your macros, just work it in a surplus version. The opposite goes for if you want to lean bulk, so you'd be in a slight deficit. Okay, so if you want to be in a lean muscle building, here's my next step. Okay, so the fourth tip then would be to add in high intensity into your workout. Okay, so if you can take a sprinter for example, have you ever seen a super thin sprinter? And I'm talking professional. Okay, if you look at Usain Bolt, Christian Coleman, Justin Gatlin, they all have a lot of lean muscle mass. Okay, so it's all that high intensity work. They don't just sprint. Okay, so sprinting is something you can add into your workout. You can do it anywhere. You don't need a gym to do this. You can do it on track, you can do it on the road, you can do it on the field. Okay, so incorporate sprints, a short burst of energy, working that ATP system, which is well with the fast twitch muscle fiber, which is basically, in a short term, your lean muscle. Okay, but sprinting is not the only thing they do. They do powerlifting, weightlifting, they do that high intensity gym work. Okay, so how do you do this without a gym? Tip number 5. So you remember tip number 2, isometric work and supersetting. Okay, so muscle under tension for a longer period of time. How can we do that in a simpler but effective way? Incorporate resistance bands. Okay, so you can literally do anything with a resistance band. If you want to do a bicep curl with a resistance band, attach it to something, hold it and curl it, or two-handed bicep curl with a resistance band, pull it apart and do a bicep curl like that. Your muscle will still be under tension. Okay, so you don't need all your weights from the gym to actually do it. You get different levels of resistance for resistance bands, so you can use heavy ones if you want to do things such as deadlifts, squats, and anything that needs a lot more resistance to it. So one of the things that's worked for me during this whole lockdown is resistance band training. A lot of you might think, oh, it's just an elastic band, it's not going to work against me. I'm used to pumping 100 kilograms in the gym. Okay, it is still a resistance pulling against your muscle. Okay, we can't be picky right now, and that we need the best equipment. We need all those 100, 200 kilogram weights that you need at a gym. If you can get a resistance band, just add more sets, do your isometric training, do your supersetting. You can get an effective workout in. Okay, all it takes is a little bit of creativity and watching my channel, and you guys will know what to do. Right, so let's recap. Tip number 1, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't make it your top priority during this time. If you are, skip to the next step. Step number 2, you are doing isometric training and supersetting, so keeping your muscle under tension for a longer period of time, whether that is using resistance bands, weights, or anything like that. Tip number 3, you're deciding what sort of muscle you're wanting to get. So is it lean, is it a bulk? Are you going to be in a calorie surplus or calorie deficit? Tip number 4, add in high intensity work, whether it's sprinting, whether it's powerlifting, where it's more plyometric, explosive workouts. Add that list stuff into workouts, not every day, otherwise you're going to tire yourself out. Every second day or day after that, anything like that. And then your 5th one is add in resistance bands. Okay, so this is a cheap, effective way to keep resistance on your muscles, and the workouts are endless. If you need help on resistance band workouts, drop in the comment box below and I'll let you guys know a little bit more about exercises you can do for a specific muscle group with a resistance band only. If there's any specific topic you guys want me to talk about, put it in that comment box below and I'll get to it as soon as possible. If you guys are enjoying the content I'm putting out, let me know. I'm doing this for you, so if there's anything you guys want me to do specifically, if there's something I'm doing that you don't want me to do, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Velocity Motion Athletic. I'm Coach Daniel and I'm out. Cheers.